and you can get access to all the frontier LLMs for free. Now you can get to a point where you're going to want to spend some money, but if you like have accounts on all of them, you can sort of flip from one to the other. So if you start using ChatGPT and you run out of credits, you can take your prompts and your output, move over to Claude. You run out over there, you can move over to Kimi K2. You run out there, move it to Quen. Eventually, like as you start to acquire some other resources, and you want to spend $20, you can spend on a proper license and get the ability to keep going. And usually it's just a matter of like how many prompts can you get in before it says you're out for the day by a license. You can also run local models. That requires a little more local hardware and some know-how. So don't believe the stories about like anybody can run these locally. No, you can't. Like you need a decent a GPU on your laptop, and like in my case, it's like $2,600. Let's talk a little bit about who we should and who we shouldn't talk to, right, or listen to. One of the most important questions I see is like how to find mentors, who's on the level and who's not. And there are an awful lot. Oh, okay, I have to break this up. There are an awful lot of people who are giving advice who don't know what the F they're talking about. This is crucial if you're early in your career, because you're going to be looking for advice and people who are like you. The most important thing is to find people who have been where you are and have had successful careers. Now, there are as many careers in cybersecurity as there are grains of sand on the beach, drops of water in the ocean. But what you can do is look for patterns and find people who are doing things now that are kind of like what sound intriguing to you. People you admire, people who are enjoying the work that they're doing, but have come from where you are. Those are the best, right? So that's important. Also know that people like mentors' time is really important. I would caution never like reach out to somebody to say, can you mentor me? I get that a couple of times a day and nobody ever takes my advice. And so I actually stopped doing that one-on-one. Instead, I created a community. That's why I have the community that I mentioned at the beginning, where I'm going to put my notes. We have about 2,070 members there. I am available there, but a lot of other people are there too. People who have more time for mentoring, but really you're going to find perspectives that are not like yours, but you're going to find ones that are like yours, and you'll find the resources you need there. Now, let's talk about skills for a minute. And I'm going fast because I'm down to like 5 minutes. And we do questions. Oh yeah, I do recruiting. I should mention this. Like, I'm not like, I've only been doing recruiting as a job for the past 3 years, but I got into this years ago when I was at Optiv. I built a SIM practice here from 8 to 49 people in the space of 2.5 years. And about half those people were recruited by 2 external recruiters, one of whom knew my business better than I did. And I always admired his ability to keep tabs on my business and the people who he'd recruited and the other practices in the company, because he was recruiting for them too. And when I started NearShore Cyber, I wanted to be like that. I also wanted to have a better experience, or I wanted to provide a better experience to the people I was recruiting than I had been put through as a job seeker. And so we do things differently. Like I do my own tech interviews. We operate this community so that like if somebody isn't like up to snuff for a job, I can send them to the community and provide other resources and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, yeah, that's a recruiting thing. And this is part of that effort. Now let's talk about skills for a minute. The 2 kinds of skills. Sorry about the line breaks. There are what Alex Hormozi calls meta skills. And those are skills that allow you to get other skills. Early in your career, especially early in your career, your top priority is to be acquiring skills, not making money, not necessarily making connections, right? But acquiring skills. You acquire connections in your network so that you can get into situations where you can acquire skills. So some of the meta skills that I'm going to talk about here are kind of obvious, but like knowing how to be on time and to prepare. Knowing how to suffer and sacrifice. And I don't just mean on, in terms of like time, but also the kinds of relationships you have, what you concentrate on, what you're not going to do, right? Sacrifice is largely about what you're not going to have in your life. And if you look at high performers, you find that they all have certain things in common, but the most important thing is what they don't have, right? They don't, the top athletes don't eat garbage. The top athletes don't sleep late. The top athletes never miss practice.